Okay, good. So I've got to do one more thing.
He was really good. And he was funny.
Yeah, I may have it.
It was fine. Yeah. Okay, for my biology class.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'm going to go over that one more time because I don't want y'all to. I want to have it on video. So I mean not video, but I'm on. Yeah, I got it. Everything's running now, so it's recording.
It's recording?
So yes.
The yellow outline?
Yep, that's what the yellow outline means. Okay, so you click on your class 12024. You click on that. You go to My Labs Plus. You go to My Labs Plus again. It goes through the spinning routine. Go up here to the shield. Right click on it. Load unsaved scripts. And if it doesn't go through the second time, you go back up to the, see where it says pop-up block? You click on, well, hold on. You click on that X and allow pop-ups. Now see, it did it that time. And now you're been here. Now, the three things, now once you have gone through this and you go through the access code and you type in the access code, that means you are officially in My Labs Plus. You are officially a student in My Labs Plus. After that, you go to tctc.mylabsplus. I can't type, I can't spell, and when you put those two together, you suck. .com. And here, well, you log in and put your password in. Your login is, for instance, mine is McClure, because my email address is hmcclure@tctc.edu. So you would type in bsmith3, whatever your credentials here are, and then you would type in your T number, I think. Or if you reset your password to something in the previous semester, you type in that password. Either way, you either type in your T number or your password that you've changed in the past semesters. Anybody got a question on that? Yes, ma'am.
Just about the access code in general. Like you said, we can buy the access code, but not the book.
Yes, because the book is online, and you can print out the book. I'll show you how to do that today. That's what today is, all about My Labs Plus. I'm going to show you how to do everything. Okay, so now again, I don't care what you bring to class. You can bring a printout in a small notebook that you print out from My Labs Plus. You can bring a used book. You can share a book. You can steal a book. I don't care. But just come in here with a notebook, a pencil, and a calculator. All right? Don't come in here like the deadhead that came in here 2 semesters ago. Yeah, spring. That just came in and just sat in class. And then he wondered why he made a D, because he missed 2 unit tests. Okay? And then he acted like, I didn't know. Okay, whatever. I ain't got use for deadheads. I don't like deadheads at all. Anyway, you click onto your course, which is 12024. If I could find it. I've got it somewhere. Okay. There it is. Thank you. Yeah, your other teacher can't remember anything. I can't see anything. So, all right. So over here you've got, look right here, Math 120. You got those. So you got your Math 120. All those handouts that I gave you the other day, there they are. So you don't have the excuse of what? I didn't get the email. So you got that right there. So you can click onto that. You get the syllabus. You get the outline. You got the sending to your phone. You got my info. You got the class info. You got the locator card, which is butchered up because of the word processing. But I ain't worried about that. And then you got this handout here. And you got all the handouts that we went over, so you don't have the excuse of, I didn't get the email. All right, down here, homework. Now, I'm no rocket scientist, but what do you think is in homework? You'd be surprised on how many people cannot find their assignments. Yeah, cannot find homework. You go to homework. I'm gonna save homework for last. Okay. and there's your homework. But we're going to save that for last because I want to go over that last. Quizzes and tests. That's when you see your test. Now there's going to be somebody in here that's going to freak out because they see Unit 1 test, and it's due when? 8/21. What's today? Somebody in here is going to email me this afternoon and say, even though I'm saying this right now, they're going to say, I believe I saw a test due today. They're going to be doing all that. All right? Just be quiet. Okay? Why would I give y'all a test the second day of class? Okay, that's for me to go into to show you today what it looks like. Did I show y'all the test the other day? Okay, well then we don't have to do it today. But that's where it is. And look what it gives you. When you click on quizzes and tests, this is not the button that says I'm going to take the test now. All right? This is the button that you go to see what's due. And look what they have right here. What's that word? Due. What does that mean? That means due date. You'd be surprised on how many people ask me, when's the test due? I have no idea. That's what I'm going to tell you. Because I'm not going to put a test in My Labs Plus and not put the due date on. Because therefore you can click on quizzes and tests and see when it's due. I'm not escorting you to the bathroom. I'm not going to coddle you. You're not in elementary school. You're not going to get an answer from me just because you're too lazy to go and find it. All right? Now, another thing, the way I do things, I will go through the unit. That's why you have the outline. Okay, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6. Well, that's the end of Unit 1. So what do you think is coming after 5.6? A test. So that's why the outline is so important. So therefore, all the hammy squirrels don't come up to me in 2 or 3 weeks from now. I don't understand. We ain't had a test yet. When's the test? When's the test? When's the test? You need a life. Okay? You know who goes around asking for due dates? The people that procrastinate. That's the ones that ask for dates. The people that do their work every day, the people that, I go over 5.2 today, you go home and you work on 5.2, you do the homework or you do the homework tomorrow or during the weekend, you're not the ones that's going to worry about the test dates. The ones that's going to worry about the dates are the ones that's going to do everything at the last minute. And I have been teaching for 20 plus years, and I'm not saying that just to be I'm saying it because that's the ones that I've seen that ask for the due dates. I've watched them, online. I'll take a mental note. Okay, this person, their name. And I'll make a mental note. And then I'll go and I'll look and I'll see when they do the homework. And they do the homework the day before it's due. That's why they want to know when the test is due. I'm not going to answer you. You go. That's what the outline's for. If we got 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, when we get to 5.5 and 5.6, little flags should be going off in your brain saying, okay, we're going to be having a test pretty soon. When I finish 5.6, I'll say, looks like we got a test coming up. This is what I say in class. Looks like we got a test coming up. And if I'm halfway through the class, I'll say, we'll pull up the test next time y'all come. Next time we meet, we'll pull up the test. Oh my God, he's going to pull up the test in class? People, I'm not stupid, okay? I'm not going to pull up the test that's going to be exactly the same test that you're going to get, okay? I'm going to pull up a version of one of my tests. How do I do my test? Let's say I give you 10 questions on the test. Now, you got to think here. 10 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each one of those questions is pulling from 10 questions or more. So how many questions do I have put back for that test? If I got 10 problems on it, and I got 10 to 15, I got at least 100 questions that it's pulling from. Everybody see what I'm saying? So for question number 1, I may have 15 questions to pull from. So your number 1 may look totally different from the person beside you. And it may be a totally different problem. I also reconstruct the algorithm, all right? Which means that instead of you having a 5, say like you get the same 2 problems, okay, which is unbelievably not going to happen, all right? One of you has number 5, the other one has number 6. In other words, 6x and 5x. It's going to regenerate algorithmically. So you got that going for you. So there's 2 mix-ups right there. Then I reorder. In other words, your number 1 may look like somebody else's number 15. So that's 3 things that I do. So what's the chances of you getting the same test as the person beside you? 0. All right, so I'm not stupid. I'm going to enforce every kind of reordering algorithm that I can on this test. Now, you get 3 forms of a test. So you take it 3 times. I take the highest of the 3. Everybody write that down. I want everybody to write that down because you're going to come to me before the test and you're going to ask me, how do you count this test? And I'm going to say, I have no earthly idea because I've told you. Okay? There's also a bonus question on the test. The question says, how does Hubert count his test? I give you several forms of the test and I take the what grade? The highest grade. I want you to write down highest grade. I want you to take a highlighter out or take your pencil and circle highest grade. So somebody's going to say, yeah, I took the Unit 1 test and I took it 3 times. Do you average the grade? I have no idea. So you click on that test and you do it. And, well, before you do it, okay, you click on it. Okay, it says pass to you. But when you click on it, it's going to give you the due date, just like right here. It's going to tell you how much time you got to take it. So therefore, you don't have to ask me before the test is due how much time we're going to have to take it. And it's going to tell you how many attempts you have. Okay? And it's going to give you your score afterwards. So that's where you find quizzes and tests. I don't give quizzes. Write that down. Now, if y'all want me to, I can give y'all a weekly quiz every week. Okay, so we're in a majority don't want to do that. Okay, so I don't give quizzes. All I give is 4-unit tests, a final exam, and your homework. So you're responsible for 5 things. 4-unit tests, which we probably won't get to the last one. We usually don't. A final exam, and the homework. That's the only thing you're responsible for, and all of it is on here. Okay, so what else do we need to talk about? Well, let's talk about chapter contents. Write this down, chapter contents. That's where you get anything extra. Chapter contents, anything extra. So what's extra? Somebody name an extra in math. What's extra? Extra problems. Yes. Extra resources. Yes. So chapter contents. And I think I'm going to hit chapter 3 because that's the first chapter. Let me go ahead and tell you this also. Chapter 1 and chapter 2 on your outlines. Get your outlines out and highlight chapter 1 and chapter 2. Chapter 1 and chapter 2 is all reading. You need to be reading those sections ASAP. Okay? Chapter 1, chapter 2. I think there's 3 or 4 sections in chapter 1 and 3 or 4 sections in chapter 2. Make sure you read those sections. If you don't have a handout, then we're starting to see who the losers are. Because I've already emailed you that the whole weekend. You should have done printed it out by now. Oh, my cat ate my printer. Oh, okay. So, did you go and rate my professor? Did you check out your instructors? Okay, I don't want to hear anything. Do not say anything about me, but we make fun of others, though. How bad were your others? What did the holiday say? Did we look them up the other day in this class?
He says he loves pop quizzes. Hubert said he loves pop quizzes.
I never did like pop quizzes. There's a civil engineering instructor at Clemson, and he's been teaching for 153 years. I'm serious. That man has to be at least 100 by now. And I think he just retired. His name is Nowak. And he is well known in the civil engineering world as a professional student, that is. I don't know about being a good engineer, but he's a professional, so I don't think he ever set foot in the real world. But anyway, he's been teaching in civil engineering at Clemson for about 100 years. Every class, your grade in that class was not by a final exam and was not by, he taught statics, dynamics, and thermodynamics. I took all 300 because I didn't like taking chapter tests and final exams. I would rather take, but every class, twice a week, you got a pop quiz. A quiz. Every class. So you had that class 14 weeks. That's 28 quizzes. You had 28 quizzes, and what you made on those quizzes, that was your grade, the average. And I'll never forget that man because of that. And I learned a lot in those classes, but the whole point is he gave quizzes like that. Some teachers do that. I don't. I can't. That's too much work for a teacher. Yes, ma'am.
Tony told us that he was going to give us a pop quiz for like 2 weeks in a row, and on the third week he wouldn't give us a pop quiz, and then on the fourth week he gives us a pop quiz.
So we wouldn't be expecting.
So we wouldn't.
And then when we fail, he'll give us a busy work assignment
Yeah.
that nobody loves.
Oh no, he said he did.
If one person fails it.
When does drop ad we in?
Ad was yesterday, drop is Friday.
I may be dropping.
I'm dropping.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Robin McFall, great teacher. Great teacher. English. Shet is retired.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
was
left.
good.
He's great. Yeah. Mary Guerin, I don't know where she is. She didn't come back either. I'm trying to think. Robin McFall is one of the best teachers at Charles County Tech.
Are you
English.
allowed to switch teachers, or is it just completely like
Well, you can drop, add anything you want to.
Really?
Yeah. Give me a second. I'll think of another English teacher in just a minute, but I can't think. Robin McFall is top notch, and she teaches at Pendleton, but she's worth the drive. But that's the only one I can think of right now. Anyway, I'll shut up. All right, chapter 3. Pick the section. Let's go with 3. I'm gonna pick 3.3 because I think it's got some real math in it. Okay. And look at there, a video presentation for those visual learners, okay, which is mostly guys. Guys, I don't need the directions, just show me the picture. Yeah, whatever. Don't need any directions. Just visual learners. So go ahead and hit video e-text. Here's where you get your book. Okay? Now, the outline. The third reason the outline is so important. You can go through and print out all the sections with your printer and print out your book as you need it. Okay? Some of y'all that don't want to kill trees and some of y'all that don't want to carry around a book, can do that. All right? Why do I say don't kill trees? Well, how much paper is in a book? A lot. How much do we use? Probably half of it. Okay? Some people I don't even use a book. All right? So what I'm trying to tell you is you can do what you want as far as a book, but it's not going to stop the world from revolving if you don't buy a book. Okay? You can use this, print it out, you click that. And those of you that have a book right now, turn to whatever comes up. Oh, really? Oh, this is okay. This is so you don't bootleg, I guess. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Get to page, okay, there. Turn to page 139 or 140. And if you turn to page 140, it looks exactly like this. You go up to the handy dandy button up here somewhere. There it is, print, and you can print out this page. Okay? Now find the beginning. Somebody tell me this is 3, let's see. No, I'm sorry. It's probably down at the bottom. Yeah, that's where 3.3 starts. So you type out, print out this page, 141. It's 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages, 7 pages. That's the homework in the book. 8, 9, 10. I guess 10 or 11 pages. Okay, I think somewhere around. Somebody tell me what page 3.4 starts on.
147.
Okay, I done passed it. That's the only thing. You need to look. 147. It stopped on 147? There, 146. So however how many pages that was, 139, 7 pages. So you type those back to back, that's 3.5 pages. 3.5, 3, 4 pages. See what I'm saying? Put that old 3-hole puncher, put it in your notebook. Bring it to class. If you need that there. Okay? Some people don't. Some people just bring their notebook. That's fine. I don't care what you bring to class. I can't specify that enough because somebody's going to email me when they're trying to figure out what to get. They're going to email me from the bookstore and say, do we need a book? I've done said it 3 or 4 times. I don't care, because everybody gets the book online when you get the what? The access code. What's important? The access code. The book, beg, borrow, steal, share, I don't care. But get the access code. Okay? So that's how you print out the book. And you print it out per section. So you can either buy a book, you can share a book, or you can print out the book as you need it. Doesn't matter to me. Capiche? Yes, Hubert, we understand. Study plan. Study plan means extra problems that don't count against me. Write that down if you don't know if you don't remember well. Study plan. Extra problems that don't count against me. They're not for a grade. They just tell you if it's wrong or right, and that's it. So when you go to chapter contents, that's extra. Extra resources like the video, extra problems, and that's where you get the ebook. You can also get the ebook several other ways. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. All right? But I'm going to go ahead and go to the study plan because I'm going to show you the homework. Basically, the homework is like the study plan, only that's what I assigned. What I assigned is in there. It says sections 1.1 homework, 1.2 homework. That's what counts. Okay? But the questions look like this. That's a question right there. All right? If you'll look right here, it says question help. How many of you have used My Labs Plus before? Raise your hand. Okay, so that's what I'm showing you. All right, look here. Help me solve this. There's 2 types of tutors when you go to a tutoring lab. There's the guided tutor, and then there's just the tutor. A guided tutor says, okay, 2x equals 4. What do we have here? We have, and you say, we have an equation. And I say, okay, what is x? And then you say, that's a variable. Okay. What are we doing with 2 and x? Multiplying. And you answer multiplying. I say, okay, what undoes multiplication? And you say division. And I said, well, what do we do on one side? We got to do where? On the other. I'm asking what as I'm teaching you? I'm asking you questions. That's called a guided tutorial. It's also called a guided lecture. That's the way I teach, all right? I give you problems or I ask you questions while I do the lecture. Okay, it's one of the most popular ways of learning and one of the most popular learning styles that they have come up with, okay? A lot of people don't like a guided tutorial because they just want to know how to do the problem. That's fine. But when in a learning environment, like a classroom, you can't put everybody on the same sheet of music, so you have to start from the minimum where basically you're trying to teach to the person that's never seen it before, okay? So that's one of the things. Help me solve this is a guided tutorial. It asks you questions as you go along. When is this valuable? It's valuable when you've never seen the material before. Okay? Some of you, maybe all of you, since probability and statistics is the go-to for a lot of high schools because it's easy to pass, a lot of you are told to take probability and statistics. And stay away from that calculus stuff. Stay away from that algebra 2 and pre-calculus because you're going to fail that and it's going to make the school look bad. All right? So they tell you to take probability and statistics. All right? So a lot of you have had probability and statistics. A lot of you are not going to sit there and go, okay, I need help me solve this. No, a lot of you won't, unless you're very unfamiliar with the material that I'm going over. What's the alternative? The alternative is the tutor that says, okay, 2x plus 4, 2x is equal to 4. You divide on both sides by 2, and then x is equal to 2. That's called a tutorial. That's just a tutor. Okay, don't ask you a question. Just show me how to do the problem. That's what show an example is. It just tells you how to do it, and you just hit continue. Okay? When do you need this? This is for the person that's had the material, and you don't need refreshing. Okay? Y'all supposed to have a heart attack because my phone went off. Okay? You're supposed to get mad. Everybody mad? Jumping up and down? Question here. Okay? Everybody good? Because I'm getting 1 or 2 cues that you're bored out of your mind and you want to get out the hell out. Okay? If you're one of those people, get the hell out. Okay? Remember, I'm here to teach those that what? Want to be here. I'm picking up on 1 or 2 of y'all that y'all are cueing me that you don't want to be here. Get the hell out. Anybody? Now, y'all are in my line of sight, so I'm not picking on y'all. Y'all are just in my line of sight. I don't sit here and look at this side of the room, and I don't sit here and look at this side of the room. Y'all, I'm just looking, not y'all, okay? But I'm picking up on two of y'all. Like I say, if you're not wanting to be here, get out. What tells me that you don't want to be here? Well, you're looking off into space, you're doing other things while I'm talking. That's kind of an indicator. I'm not stupid, okay? All right, close. All right, here we go. Video, visual learner. This is your visual learning. It'll come up eventually. It depends on what. What? Okay, I done addressed that one time. Let me try that again. Okay, by hand. And it gives you several videos. And I bet this. And it goes through and does videos. Okay, so I'm not going to go through and show you the video. Now, I'll explain why there's so many different learning styles in just a minute. Okay, textbook for you readers. All right, some of y'all can read East of Eden in like a day, or War and Peace in like a day. Some of y'all that read like a whole book in 5 minutes, y'all go and read, okay? It'll take you to the book, and here you can print this book out. You print this page out, and then you get into the book, you can start printing again. Again, this is for the people that need to see the book, and that's where text comes in, okay? Stack Crunch is a glorified spreadsheet. You use it as a tool. It doesn't help you learn that much, as well as the mechanics. It lets you do the math in a spreadsheet form. I do mine in Excel, and I will show you how to use Excel to people that know how to use Excel. I'm not trying to teach people that's never seen it. I do it as a presentation tool because I write all over the place. So it's easier for me to do it on a spreadsheet where everybody can see it, and therefore I don't have to use 5 or 6 different boards because I write all over the place and I write big. So I use Excel as a presentation tool, not you have to use it. And I'll say that probably 5 or 6 times because somebody is going to tell my department head that I force you to use Excel, and I do not. I just use it as a presentation tool to get everything on the board in one page. That's what I use. Okay, I could use Stack Crunch, I just don't. Tech Help, that's where you find tech help with your calculator. It's a resource, it's not a learning style. Print, this is where you can print out your homework. Now, some of y'all use this because some of you, there's nothing wrong with it, like to do paper and pencil at home. And that's fine because some of you have a lot of time at home. Some of you have time at your work where you can sit down and do, and you don't have to pull it up on the computer. If you want to do that, you hit print, and then you hit print, and okay, it's not letting me. I'm going to have to go through and change that because it's supposed to ask you print this question or print the whole assignment. I'm going to have to change that. But no, I'll fix that. But it'll ask you print this question or print the whole assignment. Now that's a double-edged sword. If you print the whole assignment, don't go back into the homework and do problems, because what they print out is going to be a set of problems, and if you go through and hit number 1 and number 2 and do it again, it's going to do what to the problem? It's going to change the problem to a different number, and then you're doing it here and you go to type in your answer, it's going to be a different problem. So the only thing I need to tell you on homework is when you print out the homework and do it paper and pencil, don't go back into the homework until you want to type in problems. Don't go back in and play around and do problems. Then that'll just throw that homework paper away because it's going to do it. Okay, so you got to think about that when you print it out. Okay, the most important prop or learning tool right here is Ask My Instructor. These learning styles, these little icons right here are not to take place of the instructor. These are to help you get through homework when you get stuck. That's what they're there for. All right. Now, My Labs Plus, my math lab is the original. was eventually, it was created so a student could take a class by themselves in an independent lab setting. That's what it was made for, okay? But eventually it branched out to where students in a classroom like this one could use it. It eventually was to take the place of the instructor in an independent setting. This is not what this is. In a classroom setting, you have a teacher. This is used when you've got a teacher. It's used to help you get over the hump, especially in algebra. Algebra, if you can't do number 10, are you going to be able to do number 11? No. Now, probability and statistics, especially these first two chapters you're reading, you can get by with, with getting around the question because it's not based on the previous question. But in your stair-step material, which is a lot of algebra and stuff like that, it's needed. These things are needed to get you past number 10 so you can get to number 11. That's what these are for, to get you over the hump at home. All right? What happens when you can't figure out the problem and get those? That's when you send me an email. I hit one button, okay? I don't know why students can't use this more, okay? All you do is hit one button, and you don't even have to type anything. You could just hit send. But I'm going to type in, if you didn't suck, I would know this. Now, I'm going to do this for one reason. I would know this, all right? I want you to see that I typed that in. I do something real weird like that, so you won't think I sent it like 2 or 3 days ago to my email. I'm sending it right now. Send. All right? It's 9:01. I'm going to go to my email. I'm going to log in, which it probably won't let me log in because I'm on a prehistoric college. And I'm going to go to my 120 and look at there. Just send it. See how fast that was? Now the next day in class, I'm going to go to my 120 folder, and if you got questions in there, we're going to pull them up. And I'll say, okay, this person sent 3.3, number 4, and this is like number, don't give a problem, why does it give? It usually gives you the problem that it looks like in the book, but it's not. Okay, don't worry about it. And I hit this hyperlink, and guess what? It pulls up the exact problem that you were having trouble with. Now this is one of the best tools. This is one of the reasons I use MyLabs Plus in my classroom. And the reason I brought it aboard back in 1996 with little 3.5-inch diskettes. All right? I was one of the first teachers at Tri-County to bring this aboard. And one of the reasons is some students, especially in your algebras, they do not like to ask questions because they get embarrassed. All right? This is a way that you can send a question in, and I can pull it up, and boom, we can go over it in class. And the good thing about this is if somebody has sent this question in, what does that mean across the whole class? Somebody else had that same question. Because normally, the more challenging questions rise to the top, and people send them in. And the ones that get on this board that's sent in, usually the whole class, half the class, a quarter of the class, have that same question. So it works out real good for the people that use it, and for the people that don't want to use it, because usually they get their questions answered. And some of you have none of you have had me before because you're mostly high school students or just meant to get out of high school. So you haven't had me before. If I had anybody in here that's had me before, or you can ask, sometimes we spend 15 minutes at the beginning of the class going over questions. There is no excuse for people to go through my class and say, oh, well, he didn't go over this. Well, you didn't send it in. If you don't send it in, I go over it the first time. Squeaky door gets what? Squeaky door gets what? I heard, bruh. Oil. Or oil, depending on where you're from. Okay? Or grease. What does that mean, since your parents didn't tell y'all? Okay? It's your parents' fault. What does the greasy door? The squeaky door gets grease. I like to say grease because if I say OIL, some smart alex out there is going to say, oh, he didn't pronounce it right. He's a racist. He's Southern and racist. Whatever. Okay? There's 2 ways to pronounce OIL, and I pronounce it the right way. I don't pronounce it with the nasal thing. I'm sorry. But I say grease. What does that mean? If you have trouble, if you don't speak, what? You're not going to get any help. All right? You've got to ask a question if you don't understand something. Okay? It's as simple as that. If I go through 5.6, I say 5.6 because this is chapter 1 and nobody will freak out if I say if I go through 1.6, I'm like, oh, we're supposed to be on 1.6? Okay, if I go through 5.6, the next day I come to class, which is, let's say I go over 5.6 today. And what time y'all come back? Monday? Yeah. Monday, y'all come back and I don't see any questions on 5.6. What am I to assume? Everybody understands it. Squeaky door gets greased. If I don't get any questions on 5.6, I'm going to move on to 5.7. That's why you have to stay on top of your homework. If you don't stay on top of your homework, you're giving me a false indication, and then the procrastinator is going to be like, I got a question on 5.6. Well, we're ready to take the test. You shouldn't have waited till the last minute to do your homework. You see what I'm saying? Stay on top of the homework. Do it religiously. You should be working on chapter 1 and chapter 2 homework as you are reading. Okay? And then what we're going to do Monday and Wednesday of next week, I'm going to present chapter 1 and chapter 2. We're going to go through the book just like you have it in your book, and I'm going to highlight the things that you need to be highlighting and putting in your notebook. The definitions, the concepts, the material that you need to know that I will put on the test. I will go through and tell you. Census, I'm not going to put census on the test because everybody knows what a census is. It's a dadgum survey you take every 10 years. All right? But I will ask you what average is, or I will ask you what, some things that you need to know. I'll ask you that on the test, and I'll say, I'm not going to put that on the test, but I'll put that on the test, and you highlight it. Okay? That's the way I go over chapter 1 and chapter 2 because it's reading. And then 80% of your first test, write this down, 80% of the Unit 1 test, 80% of the Unit 1 test is going to come from Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is where we start getting into the math. So 20% of your test is going to come from definitions in Chapter 1 and 2. 80% is going to come from Chapter 3. Capiche? Okay, so now you know how to use the homework. What else is there in this MyLabs Plus that you need to go over, Hubert? Well, what do you think grade book is for? I can't find my grade. That's what I get. That's the email I get. Can you tell me how to get to my grade book? Or how to get to my grade? Nope. Because I went over it second day of class. I went over that second day of class. Hit grade book. Now, the reason I'm going to show you grade book, one of your bonus questions comes from this. Where do you find, well, it says hide overall grade, not now, but there. Okay, this is what you're going to see when you get to grade book. There's two buttons I want you to know. One, show overall score. That takes everything into it. A lot of people say, well, how does it know? I'll show you. Down here, where I go to my grade book, which is a grade book that calculates everybody's grade, it says change weights. Right now, the weights are not right. I didn't change this one. I'm setting them right now. Well, I thought I was. 20, 0, and 80. Now tell me what that means. Somebody tell me what that means. That means 80% of your grade comes from what? And 20% comes from homework. So I'm going to save that right now. And now I'm going to go ahead and do this because that way you get to see it. I'm going to change to homework. And I think I'm just going to take a guess and say there's 25 there. And then it'll tell me. Hold on a second. Hard impressed, aren't you? And let's see what that gives us. 128, so I'm going to drop. Okay, so now each one of your homeworks has a percentage of 100. See there? Why did I put the 4s at the last? Because we very rarely get to the last, and I'll omit those. Okay, and I'll change it. Okay, and it's more difficult material. Now let's go to the test. You don't see these, but there's the test. There's 4 tests. Why is there 4, Hubert? I thought we had 5. Well, I very rarely get to the last test, so I just don't even put it. I have it back in the file somewhere. All right, now when you go to overall grade in your grade book, it's going to read those grades, and it's going to read your grades, and it's going to calculate, and it's going to put it in this. It's going to hit overall grade, show overall score, and then if you need more details, what do you hit? Show calculation. I know this is very difficult material. Hit overall score and hit calculation. Very difficult concepts. Okay, so write those 2 down. Grade book, show overall score, and once you hit show overall score, you hit what? Show calculation. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. Just remember, there's some people that should not procreate or drive. And there's some people that shouldn't take classes because they don't listen, they don't write notes down, they just don't think. And they've been told how to do everything their whole life, and they don't want to read, they don't want to think, they've just been told everything. Go to the bathroom, eat, do this, do that, and even in school. How many teachers do you know that just tell you how to do everything? Well, they need to wean you off of that. All right, so we've went over homework. We've went over tests. We've went over grade book. Your syllabus and everything is up there. Main menu. Whenever you want to hit main menu, you go back. E-text. There's another way to pull it up. You just go straight to the e-text. If you don't want to go to and just pull up the e-text and it'll give you the table of contents, you go to whichever one you want. I'm not going to wait on it because it takes forever. But I'm looking for anything else that's pertinent. Then you won't see these. These are mine. Anybody got any questions so far? Okay. But like I said before, if you want to, and I'm just going to go through now that you see everything, I'm just going to go through and pull up the test, and we're not going to go through a question again like we did the other day, but I'm just going to show you, and now you can get an idea, because some of you may remember the questions that we went over the other day. Now, my bonus questions do not change, but some of you that might remember some of the questions they're not going to be the same on this one. It's going to be different, all right? And I'm just going to go through, and you'll see that there's different questions from the other day when we went over it. Okay, the bonus questions do not change. And it's pretty sad that I have people on the 4th test of the semester, 4th unit test or the 3rd unit test, they still miss the bonus questions. Yeah. Procreation, driver's license, this shit. Live PD. Oh, there's the judgment day. The dreaded judgment day. Sacrilegious bastard.
Guess we're all doomed.
See? Okay, so who's got questions? Does anybody have any questions on the access code or anything like that? Ask it now.
Once we talk about access code for miles plus on top of
No, the access code is one, and that's where, let me go back. Now, and I don't know if I went over this after the 2nd day. I can't remember what I go over with each class, so y'all have to, I'm going to go right to the, I've got a few minutes. I'm going to go right to the email again, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I can't remember if I did this with y'all. I'm going to, while I'm doing this, I'm going to send the sheet around, and I need y'all to just put your initials in the box beside the check to say you were here today, and that way I won't have to call out y'all's names. If I could find it. There. Just put your name beside it.
You got Mr. Holiday.
I do what?
It's a holiday.
Is that Mr. Holiday? It says hi.
No, it's
That's not the teacher. Now see, this is the kind of questions I get. The first day of class, what did I tell y'all about where to get your access code? Oh my gosh, you remembered. Wow. Evidently this person didn't.
You want us to put our initials beside the check?
Just put, no, that second line. The check means that y'all entered. No, the second line beside the checks. Right there. Yeah. That means, put the date, what's today's date? Put it at the top for me. Put 8/22 at the top. Okay, those of you, look at the board. And I'm going to pull up Math 120 email. And it's and we pulled it up a while ago, the MyLabs Plus student login. And that's why you need to print out. Some of you haven't printed it out, but it's printed out back and front because it's a lot of pages. And you'll see that it basically, right here, access code means you have it. All right? That means you got it in the book or you got it in the bookstore. Buy now means you're going to buy it online with a credit card. Pay later means you're going to use the free 21 days. Okay? There's where you enter it right there. After you enter it and it says you are in, you can throw it away. Okay? Make sure you get to the page that says confirmed. Hold on a second. Right here. You have successfully subscribed to Pearson, blah, 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 return to course. When you see that and they say they sent you an email, do they send a confirmation email? I can't remember. But anyway, that's when you know you're in. And when you get to that, you know you can go to the website, the tctc.mylabsplus.com, and you can just type in H. McClure and then your password or your T number. Make sure you include the T. Make sure it's capitalized. Okay. Who else has got a question on anything so far? Yes, ma'am.
Are Cengage and Pearson completely different things?
Yes.
Okay.
Cengage sucks.
I know.
I mean, it really does. I have been trying, I teach calculus, and we have to use WebAssign. WebAssign has a second name. Sucks. It is like the Mickey Mouse watch compared to the Rolex. This right here is the Rolex. All right? It is awful. What do you got? What class do you have? Okay, well, it might be different for the languages, but the math sucks. Yes. I can't hear you. People are talking.
After we put the access code online, we go to the MyLabs Plus link.
It will send you, when you punch in your card, your credit card or debit card, it won't even ask you for that. It's going to send you in. It's saying, okay, this person's legit. They've paid. Boom. It sends you right to the course. And then you can go afterwards. You can do the login from the TC.
So we can.
Yes.
So we can just buy it online, like right there.
You can buy it. Just buy it online. Put your credit card or debit card in, and it won't even ask you for an access code. It'll send you right to that screen right here.
Oh, okay.
Who else has got a question?
Do you think that is the access code the same for like buying the books?
No, it's about $15 to $20 cheaper online. The access code is $20 cheaper than buying it in the bookstore or with the book, I think. Somebody verify that, is it? I think it's cheaper.
It was like 118 after class.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
It was 118 after class.
In the bookstore? Okay, the access, okay, 118. So it's probably 130, 105. How much is a book and access code in the bookstore? I'm sorry, 135. So you do save. Okay, so you save money just doing access code. There's no reason. The only reason a lot of people buy the book and the access code is one, they're coming in, they go in the bookstore, they buy a book, and they go. If you bought a book and it hasn't been opened, take it back, take your receipt, take it back, and then buy the access code online and save $20, $30. So that's up to you how you want to do it. Any other questions for me? All right, if you have a question that we haven't covered, just send me a text or an email, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Make sure everybody signs that. And y'all have a good day. See y'all Monday. Read chapters 1 and 2 over the weekend. Glad y'all got to see me.